get your avocado squishy?
Oh my God, you got one. You got one as well.
I stole it.
I thought I was the only one. Hold on. I didn't even know that we were doing this.
Do you know that you can do like that? And it's just,
Are we going to get in trouble for having these?
I don't know. We just said it. Oh, at least I just said it. So it's too late now, Tim. You can't take any of that back.
Yeah.
It's out there in the great wide open.
If Informa wants these back, they're going to have to send us an email.
They're going to have to pry it from our cold, dead hands. So, yeah, we just had the restaurant show in Chicago, and they're at our booth, at the Informa booth. They were handing out these stress kind of avocado toys. I guess attendees would spin a wheel, and they had a chance to win this. The whole reason behind me bringing this up, not only is, I mean, it's cool, but it allows me to also plug our Grocery Next event, because we got this at the restaurant show. And my idea for the Grocery Next event, which is September 10th through the 12th at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca, Illinois.
Beautiful Itasca.
And you can register now. Go to our website and register. I'm thinking it's a perfect opportunity, Tim, to have grocery guys plush squishy dolls. What do you think? It can be one of you and one of me. Yours can have like the little glasses, and I can have the backwards cap on mine, and our tummies can blow up like the pit in the avocado here.
I like that. Or maybe we should do those, those professional headshots that you go to like a Comic-Con or something, and there's, a guy that played, Chewbacca or something, and he's like signing headshots. Maybe we should do something like that.
Yeah, you got to bring your Sharpie. Make sure to bring your Sharpie marker to do all those autographs.
I will. Yeah.
We're going to have to come in via a limousine and go to the back entrance and have like sunglasses and disguises and stuff, so people won't just completely just mug us when we try to attend this conference. And it'd be good if they had little Tim and Bill squishy dolls, I think.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited about the upcoming show. It's going to be focused on technology and retail media and so forth.
Retail media. It should be it's already building up to be a great event.
Yeah.
And we still have a few months to go. So it's going to be a great thing. And it's going to be our first show, and it's going to be great. We're going to be first timers, and we're going to hit it out of the park first time.
Well, if it's anything like CSP Daily's RMN Forum, which was just held in Dallas last month, it's going to be great. That was a great show. It's unfortunate that you weren't able to attend. I think you would have enjoyed it.
Well, I had a sign-in event for grocery guys, in Idaho. So, I had to go there and make the appearance for us, Tim, and, take the L for the team.
Was it a state fair or something?
Yeah, like it's a pre-state fair thing. It's not even the state fair. It's, it's some kind of preview of the state fair. That's how small the event was. So, but we do have some breaking news I thought we'd go into. Target came out with its earnings today, and it wasn't good for Target. They were down in comparable store sales. They were down in net sales. And their response to it all is they're forming an enterprise acceleration office. And this office aims to drive greater speed and agility across the company and improve how functions collaborate to advance key priorities, from simplifying cross-company processes to using technology, AI, and data in new ways. So to me, that sounds like they're trying to cut costs by becoming more efficient. And I think what they really need to focus on is getting more people in their stores. Would you agree?
People in the stores is pretty crucial to the store concept. So yes, I would think so. Is it their omni-channel? Is it their brick and mortar? Is it a combo of both? Like, what's going on over there?
Well, it sounds like it's more their brick and mortar because digitally they did very well for the quarter. They had increases in their 1 day deliveries. They had increases in people that would pull up for their deliveries. They had digital growth, but their sales traffic was down 2.4% year over year, and ticket size was down 1.4% year over year. So,
Do you think this is because liberals don't want to be seen in Target because there's this backlash against it over the DEI stuff, but they'll still buy stuff online where nobody nobody can see what they're doing?
that very well could be. Just like you and I should be incognito at the Grocery Next event. I think these people they're in incognito mode.
Right.
I think there's a lot to say about that, Tim. I really do. I think they might be going to more of I'm not going to go to the store, but I will sit down and go to Target.com. So they had a 36% increase in same day delivery through Target Circle 360.
Wow.
So that was a pretty big increase there. So, I mean, they're not doing too bad when it comes to online stuff. And then you got Walmart, who came out with their earnings last week. Now, Target said they were going to do everything in their power to not pass on the tariff costs to shoppers. They were going to, for the most part, keep prices low. Right. On the other hand, Walmart came out last week and said, you know what? It's impossible. We're not going to be able to absorb these tariff prices, meaning that they're going to have to pass it on to the consumer. And then President Trump went on social media the next day or two, over the weekend, I believe, and said, hey, Walmart, you're going to have to eat these tariffs. So we got a little controversy brewing here between the two superpowers in retail, at least for us anyways, Target and Walmart.
How does Trump think he's going to accomplish this goal of telling Walmart what to do? Right?
I don't know.
Is he going to pass an executive order? Walmart must not pass on increases to its customers.
How many executive orders has he signed? Like 3,000?
It's like 150 now or something. It's close to 150.
I thought it was more like 3,000, maybe 4,000. What's another one to the pile, Tim? What's another one to the pile?
Exactly.
And it won't mean anything because
what's another toothless, worthless executive order that means nothing?
Exactly what it is. So I wonder if Target saw kind of the backlash of what they said during their earnings, and they said, we're not going to say anything like that in our earnings. I think that might have been part of the play there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's surprising. It's refreshingly honest, I think, for Walmart to just come out and say, listen up, folks. Here's how it works.
I agree.
And it's not us. Yeah.
But if you have prices that have been marked up, 145% or 130%, are people really going to buy those products? So really, Walmart's going to be kind of on the short end of that stick, because I wouldn't buy something that's been marked up 100+%. Would you?
No. Well, unless it was, critical, which a lot of those things presumably would have been if those tariffs had stuck. I mean, there's still the 30% tariffs, which that's not nothing. I mean, that's going to have an impact as well. So I think there's still going to be some pain felt at the cash register.
And we're at the tip of the iceberg here. We got the whole year. This is probably going to be an issue with tariffs, and it's going to come to play at grocery stores, Target, Walmart. So we're just beginning this whole fun journey that we're going to start here. So brace yourself, buckle up. We were at the restaurant show, as I mentioned, on Monday. We were at the restaurant show. It was a huge event. I believe there were a lot of people that came on Sunday. We were there on Monday. Still, there was a lot of people there. There were vendors showing off their food, their office supplies, their equipment, their plates, their servings, their everything under the sun.
It was like 10 football fields worth of stuff. I don't know. You like the football. How many football fields do you think it was?
Boy, that's a great question. I'm going to say it was probably more along the lines of 16 football fields, probably.
16 football fields.
Yeah. Or, you know, in farm speak, 16 acres. How about that? But it was packed on Monday, and there were some people that were there that what they were exhibiting were or are or is or can be available via retail, so at grocery stores and stuff. And Tim, you had an interesting trip, and I want to emphasize the word trip here to see if you catch on. But why don't you tell us about what you saw at the restaurant show?
Yeah, no, I went on a magic carpet ride, as the kids say, from 1967. No, I was walking the floor, and I was in the beverage section. And I walk up, and there's this, I believe what it was referred to as the Hemp Beverage Pavilion. So it wasn't just one, it was multiple beverage stands that had hemp, derived products. Some of them were sort of like faux, alcoholic drinks. Like one of them was like a THC-infused margarita, and others were kind of more like soft drinks, like lemonade and stuff, and I was just surprised to see it because it's, I thought that this was still only in the realm of the dispensaries and states where it's been legalized, right? But that's actually not the case. You can sell this stuff in stores in places that aren't dispensaries, and in some places in states where it hasn't been legalized, and it's all through a loophole on how the psychoactive substance in these drinks, the THC, how it is derived and what plant it is derived from. And this is what I learned at the show. I just wasn't aware of exactly how this worked, but apparently there is the hemp plant, which is the stuff that they use to make rope and whatever, I don't know, sacks. Do they make sacks or that kind of stuff, right?
Shirts, apparel,
shirts. Yeah, right. You can make anything out of hemp, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the marijuana plant or the cannabis plant, I believe, if I've got this right. I'm sure that if I've got it wrong, somebody's going to email me and tell me. But these are two different plants that both, I guess you can derive the what's referred to as Delta-9. It's like a THC substance. And one of them is like with the cannabis plant, there's a lot more of it in there versus the hemp plant, which there's a sort of it's like, one of the ways it was described is like, for every 10 hemp plants, you have one cannabis plant. I don't know if that's the exact, sort of scale of it, but that's sort of how you think about it, right? So you just have to pull more of this stuff from more of these plants. But according to the folks that I talked to in the story written by Heather Lally in Restaurant Business, it was the 2018 Farm Bill that changed this, that sort of created this loophole. And so now there's like this mishmash of state regulations and understandings of how it works and blah, blah, blah. Like you can go to restaurants in Chicago right now. You can go to some liquor stores. If you've ever been to a Benny's, you can go to a Benny's. You can go to Garfield's Liquors if you've ever been to one of those stores. What were some of the other, the Salt Shed, the Salt Shed, which is the old Morton salt factory that got turned into a concert venue. But Foxtrot, you can get it at Foxtrot now, these THC, or at least the Señorita margaritas, which was one of the ones that I saw. You can get those at Foxtrot now. So,
you know your liquor stores, Tim. You really do.
Hey, what can I say,
So I want to ask, were there a lot of like skateboards around this area? Guys in grungy clothes, was that going on there, or what was the scene like?
No, it seemed like the most normal people that you've ever seen in your entire life. And I stood there, I was talking to the people who run these stands, but I was also sort of listening out of the side of my, one of my ears, to some of the other conversations happening. And one of the guys was so excited about this. I think he had no awareness that this is something that he carry in his store, and he was like, no, I want to sell it. Like he was very enthusiastic, I would say. But both of the folks that I talked to Oliphant Brewing, which is a group out of Somerset, Wisconsin. And they told me they've only been brewing since 2014. They started off as a beer brewery, as a microbrewery or whatever. 2 years ago, they started, selling these THC infused beverages like lemonade and stuff like that. Now it's 80% of their sales.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the beer that's making them the money. And they say, and other groups that I talked to said, it's because that's what the kids like. Kids don't like to drink alcohol anymore, like in our day.
Going out to the field and using that 3-man winger on launching eggs at cars and drinking Slits and
what could be
Old
better?
Milwaukee and
Right.
Milwaukee's Best,
Little Boons.
Light,
Yeah.
Mad Dog 2020 is bringing
Mad
back
Dog 2020, baby. That takes
MD
me back.
2020. Try the grape. Anyway, no, I'm not saying.
But the kids these days, all they want is the THC infused lemonades.
So do these drinks provide energy? Because, the opposite, what marijuana really does is not give you energy and gives you an appetite. So what's the deal with these drinks?
Right. No, it's the same thing as smoking a joint, essentially. It's the same thing as taking a gummy. Like if you've ever had that. And one of the things that I noticed, I went on a couple of their websites and I can't remember exactly where I saw this, but it was kind of a warning of like, be careful with these drinks because, when you drink it, it just tastes like lemonade. So like if you're really thirsty and it's a hot day and you're out at the barbecue, maybe you drink like 3 of them real fast. Man, that'll have you on the floor.
You're out.
Yeah.
So it just makes you chill. It makes you mellow. It makes you relax. That kind of stuff.
You're probably not going to start any fist fights.
It's kind of like antifreeze, right? Tastes really sweet going down, and then before you know it, you're dead.
I think that was how they advertised it. That was the marketing.
But I'm not speaking from personal experience, of course. I'm just speaking of what I've heard on the internet.
Yeah, what you saw on TV, right?
That's right. So I want to make that clear. So I'm going to give you a paper or plastic moment here. Do you really think these drinks are going to take off at the grocery store, or we'll throw it at convenience stores and liquor stores too?
I have long believed that this sort of in a former life, I was writing for a suburban newspaper here in Chicago, and I was writing about I was covering local government, municipal government as legalization was being, sort of going through the process. It had already been legalized, but they hadn't set up the process to sell it. And there were no dispensaries and stuff. So like it was kind of legal, but like there's no place to buy it yet. And there was all this like hand wringing of where will we put it in the village of Oak Park? That's what I was covering. And, it was like at first they wanted to zone it into oblivion and make it to where the only place you could open a dispensary was right across the street from a hospital, and I was like, oh my God, give me a break. Right. And so I had long felt during, sitting through all these committee hearings that over time it will open up and it will become more competitive and it will become more normal. It might take 10 or 15, 20 years, but I think eventually you'll be able to buy whatever you want, wherever you want. Like it won't be that much different than like buying a 6-pack of beer. I think that's where we're headed. And so that like have it to where it's illegal still, they'll get on board eventually because they'll be losing all of the revenue, to all the states around it.
Sure. Yeah. All the tax you can put on it. I would have to try it before making judgment here on the paper or plastic. I'm going to pick neither right now. I'd have to try it first and see how it works. And I got personal experience behind this because, my kids are in sports. And when I am on the, sports field or sports court, I tend to get a little crazy. I'm one of those guys. I get very competitive, not totally insane, but if the ref makes a bad call, I'm gonna, I might point it out. I try my composure, but Maybe if I have if I have this lemonade that you're talking about, maybe if I have a can of that, I might be like, hey man, it's all good. Here's the love. It's
Gravy,
okay.
gravy, or whatever. Like, yeah, maybe this would be good for you, Bill. Like
Maybe.
you're kind of you're very rigid, like kind of a,
Come on,
authoritarian type figure.
spit it out, man. Come on, just tell me. What am I?
Yes, son of a.
I think I will. I'm serious. I'm going to try this out.
Yeah.
And you know what? If it works and it tastes good, I think that it will take off. But,
Oh, I do too. Well, and one of the other things, when I was talking to the guy at Oliphant, one of the things he said, I thought this was really interesting, is that there are a lot of people out there that would try these products, but they don't want to go into a dispensary because they're not dispensary people, as he said.
Right. Yep.
And,
that is a big deal.
And he was like, if you can pick it up, at a store like a Benny's or something like that and not feel like a dirt bag. He didn't say that, but like, you know what I mean? A lot more people be willing to do it. And I think that's absolutely right.
It's a lot like the adult bookstores. Now, I've never been in one, okay?
But it's like a weird turn, Bill.
I know it's very weird, but it's the same thing though. No one wants to see you go in one of those stores. It's the same thing with with getting the gummies. No one wants to see you go into that dispensary.
Exactly.
So
dispensaries are weird places. I've been into one. And
I have been into one as well. And you're right. It is really bizarre. It's like
the one I went into felt like county lockup or something. Like it was not welcoming. Like it felt awkward.
Mine felt like the black market. I was definitely dealing with some shady individuals behind a curtain. I'm serious. And again, I went there to try and, again, find a solution for me being a crazy dad on the field. But here's what I'm going to do, Tim. If this works for me, I'm going to send the executives at Walmart and Target a whole case of this stuff because I think they need to mellow out a little bit. I think they've been really strung out on this tariff stuff. Yes. And I think they deserve to have some of this stuff.
That might not be a bad idea. Maybe to the administration too, but not Pete Hegseth. The guy is trying to stay off the junk.
Yeah, okay. I'll try and keep it away from him, but I think it'd be nice. And we're not talking about the adult bookstores. And come on, we don't condone any of that stuff. All right, so just don't get on us, okay?
I do think the taboo is going to fall away. I think it kind of already is. I think there's a taboo around it still. Sort of the Cheech and Chong kind of vibe.
They sell gummies.
Oh, do they really?
They have their own brand of gummies.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, come on.
Well, exactly.
If no one else, those guys should be doing it.
Strike it while it's hot, man.
Totally.
I'm surprised they're still alive. Anyways. All right. Well, that's going to do it. And we're going to have to go back to squeezing our avocados because it's so fun to squeeze.
I know. This is so relaxing.
Is the juice worth the squeeze, as they say? Yeah, it's supposed to take some stress off. Maybe not as much as the beverages you were talking about, but it's going to have to do for right now.
Right. Any little bit, is welcome.
All right. He is Tim Inkelbarger. I am Bill Wilson. We are Grocery Guys, and have a nice, relaxing, chill, mellow rest of the week.
Mellow yellow.